Right now, sending off August with a picture-perfect forecast. Chris is tracking your holiday weekend temperatures as we kick off 3 busy days in Madison. And the Badgers are back and winning big after a rain delay. The team stormed the field and never stopped. We have all the highlights from their 49-0 victory overnight.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. I'm Keely Arthur in with meteorologist Chris Reese. It is Saturday, the last day of August. Can you believe it?
It's the last day of August. You're right.
Oh, my goodness.
I was over here thinking the last weekend, but yeah.
The last day.
Well,
Does it
September starts
feel
tomorrow.
like an August day, or does it feel more like a September
It feels
kind of day?
very much like a September day, especially as we get you towards the afternoon. We're going to notice some cloud cover coming into the picture, moving in throughout the day as well. Here's a live look at Weather Track showing you just where that cloud cover is, especially off towards the west. Can't rule out the possibility of a shower, but the air is fairly dry here around town, so we'll see if that actually makes it towards the ground. Again, Doppler track just showing you what is off towards the west. Here's a look at the overall picture in the Midwest. You see that 1 week little disturbance moving in throughout parts of South Dakota and into Nebraska. Temperature-wise, we're 50 degrees, clear skies right now and a calm wind as well. That's going to allow the temperatures to maybe fall a couple more degrees before the sun actually comes up. 40 in Black River Falls, Camp Douglas at 41 right now. No 30s on the map, but we'll watch that as we go throughout the day. Now, going through the morning, look for those temperatures to warm up towards about 68 degrees as we get you towards the afternoon. And then for your afternoon highs, we'll notice more cloud cover and again, a slight chance of a shower. I don't think everyone will see it, but we'll top out around 72. After today, though, the sun really comes out and a lot of folks are going to enjoy this forecast.
Not a chilly Labor Day forecast.
No, not at all. I'm saying we have 80s in the forecast too.
That's what I want to
yes,
hear.
there's one last little taste of summer as well.
80s, not 30s.
80s are in the forecast.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
Well, breaking into the Channel 3000 Alert Center overnight, officials have now issued a mandatory evacuation for parts of central Florida as Hurricane Dorian churns closer to shore. She's now a Category 4 storm, packing sustained winds of 140 miles per hour. And if those hold up, Dorian could be the most powerful hurricane to hit Florida's east coast in nearly 30 years. Right now, Dorian is expected to arrive late Monday or early Tuesday. There is still a chance Dorian would spare Florida, but some of the more reliable computer models predict Dorian could take a right turn before making landfall and graze the coast as it heads north.
You need to take preparations for this storm if you haven't already.
As you just heard there, officials are urging Floridians to stockpile a week's worth of food, water, and medicine. The storm is likely to knock out power lines and create a devastating storm surge. Emergency response teams from across the country are packing up and heading toward Florida to help. That includes dozens from Wisconsin. Governor Tony Evers signed an executive order authorizing the state's National Guard soldiers to assist in Florida with Hurricane Dorian recovery efforts. A crew of 27 Wisconsin utility workers will leave tomorrow morning to help. Some of those utility workers are from our area: Black Earth, Fenimore, Lake Mills, Mazomanie, and Prairie du Sac. They'll work alongside other mutual aid crews and are expected to be deployed for 10 days. Well, hundreds are expected to turn out today for 17-year-old Shay Watson's memorial service. A visitation for the Verona High School student who was shot and killed in his home in Fitchburg Sunday is scheduled for 1 o'clock at Gunderson Funeral Home. Overnight, Verona High School students paid tribute to Watson at the football game wearing blue shirts in his honor. Blue was Watson's favorite color. Following this afternoon's visitation, a celebration of life will be held also at Gunderson Funeral Home. That begins at 2:30. Well, switching gears, the Badgers kicked off the 2019 season overnight and are now undefeated after a decisive win in Florida. And if you missed any of the action, here's our Kevin Lewis with a recap.
The Wisconsin football team opening the regular season Friday night against South Florida, but not without a little weather issue. The always eloquent Badgers beat reporter Jeff Patricus said the Lightning was all around them at Raymond James Stadium before kickoff. 50-minute rain delay, but the Badgers stormed the field. See what I did there? Getting started early. First possession of the game, 3rd and 7. Jack Cohn in trouble. It's Quintez Cephas. First catch since November of 2017. Same drive. Jonathan Taylor is a beast. Takes the handoff and goes 37 yards for the touchdown. The Badgers offense just getting started. Defense getting started as well. Zach Vaughn going to put pressure on Blake Barnett. Ball's loose. Matt Hennigan picks it out of the air. Technically a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Who cares? Big guy takes it to the house. First defensive touchdown for Wisconsin since 2017. More offense. Cohn to Jonathan Taylor. Says he wants to be more of a threat in the passing game, and he was. 4 total touchdowns in the game. Badgers win 49-0. The final score. Taylor finished with a $183 again. 4 total touchdowns. The Badgers cruise to a 1-0 start. Coming up, game 2 and the home opener as the Badgers host Central Michigan 1 week from today. I'm Kevin Lewis, and that is your sports for News 3 Now this morning.
From the Badgers to the Brewers, there's not many highlights to show you from Friday's matchup against the Chicago Cubs. The Brewers are playing an important weekend series against the Cubs as they try to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. They're off to a rough start, though. Nicholas Castellanos hit 2 homers in the first 2 innings, and the Cubs never looked back, winning 7-1. First pitch today is at 1:20. The Brewers are now 5 games behind the Cubs for the second wild card spot. Millions of people are out on the roads this Labor Day weekend, and those travelers are greeted by some good news. It's cheaper this weekend than it has been in the past few years to fill up. AAA says nationally gas prices are around 25 cents lower than they were this time last year and 5 cents lower than 2 years ago. That's also true here in the Madison area, where a gallon is averaging about $2.51 this morning. A year ago, drivers were paying closer to $2.76. And you don't have to leave town to enjoy this next event. The Taste of Madison is back on Capitol Square. The event's been going on since 1983 and features more than 80 restaurants and 26 beverage stands. Admission is free, but you'll want to bring cash since the vendors don't take cards. The event runs from 2 to 8 p.m. today and then tomorrow from 11 in the morning until 7 at night. It's move-in weekend for the class of 2023, and for a lucky 1,000 of them, they'll have a practically new dorm to call home. 2.5 years and $53 million later, you'd never know Whitty Hall was built in 1964. Its 2 towers are now 1, and there's brand new furniture and air conditioning in all rooms. Even without the major facelift, Whitty was already one of the most popular resident halls among freshmen for its social atmosphere directly across from the Kohl Center. Renovating Whitty hasn't been easy, but the UW knows it's been well worth it. The price tag of $53 million is less than half of what it would have cost had the university built an entirely new dorm. Up next, renovation-wise, is Celery Hall. That 3-year project is scheduled to break ground next summer. A little homework assignment for you this weekend. Don't forget to submit name recommendations for the new school going up in Fitchburg. The new K-6 elementary school is being built off of Highway MM and is scheduled to open for classes next fall. Voting is open through September 27th, and ideas can be submitted electronically or on a paper form. The district will compile the results to present to the board in October when the finalists will be narrowed down. More local news now. The city of Madison is preparing for the grand opening of its newest employment center. The Southwest Madison Employment Center is on McKenna Boulevard near Elver Park in the former Griff's Restaurant building. The Urban League of Greater Madison will operate the center, providing on-site job training and skills development. Drop-in resume and job search support, plus help enrolling in public assistance programs. There will also be job training classes in partnership with Exact Sciences. The grand opening is Wednesday, September 18th. An analysis shows the Dane County Jail has about 75 fewer beds per 100,000 than the national average. But there are a number of ways to decrease our inmate population even more. When the county builds its new jail behind the public safety building, it wants to reduce the number of beds by 10%. An analysis from research organization JFA Institute suggests looking at expediting facility transfers and reducing the sentence length, which research shows has a large impact on the jail population without compromising public safety. Wisconsin's 2-year hemp pilot program could become permanent. The State Journal reports legislation to make that happen could be scheduled for a vote this fall. In the first year, 347 people applied for licenses to grow or possess hemp, and 135 people grew more than 1,800 acres of it. This year, the Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection saw a more than 500% increase in the number of applications. Culinary experts have spoken. Culver's has been named the best fast food restaurant in Wisconsin. The award is something most Wisconsinites already knew, but it's now official in Food and Wine magazine. Craig and Leah Culver opened the first restaurant in the family's beloved home in Sauk County in 1984. Now for the juicy butter burger and smooth custard. Today, Culver's can be found in 25 states across the nation. It's 5:11 and you are taking a live look over the Capitol where vendors are getting ready for hopefully a busy day at the market. Chris has your full farmers market forecast just ahead. Stay with us.
Go
It's Labor Day weekend, and of course, all eyes are on Hurricane Dorian for a lot of folks throughout the country, as Dorian has the potential to be a pretty powerful event, depending on where it makes landfall. Right now, Hurricane Dorian is a strong Category 4 storm, winds at 140 miles per hour, and the pressure just keeps dropping. That's signs that the storm itself continues to strengthen. Another reason we've just had so much strengthening is the warm water that has just been open for Dorian to feed off of going through the past couple of days. And given the warm water, I think it's going to maintain its intensity, if not strengthening just a little bit more as we go through the rest of the weekend. In fact, look at the forecast right towards the Bahamas, likely making a direct hit in the Bahamas as a Category 4 hurricane, just under Category 5 strength, then going towards Florida. But here is where perhaps things get a little bit lucky for us. There are signs that we're going to watch Dorian make a turn, grazing the coast, but then unfortunately, this could end up being a direct hit hurricane for places such as Charleston and the low country of the southeastern coast. So that's something we're going to continue to watch going through the weekend. And of course, we'll be updating Dorian as hurricane hunters are able to fly into the storm and get us more information in time. As for us, things are very quiet, folks. 60s and 50s are what a lot of folks are waking up to. Here in Madison, we are at 50 right now. Winds are calm, dew points are into the upper 40s, so this is a sign that we might be able to watch the temperature drop perhaps another couple degrees. 46 in Wisconsin Dells right now. Camp Douglas at 41, Black River Falls at 40. Notice this. We're at 57 in Milwaukee and 54 in Kenosha. Elsewhere, temperatures are a lot cooler. This is because the warm lake water is moving onshore. That's helping keep those temperatures just a little bit warmer. As you move towards Lake Michigan, especially down towards Chicago, the water temperatures are into the 70s, mid 60s offshore Milwaukee, and then as you work your way up towards Sheboygan, that's where the waters are just a little bit cooler with the water temperatures into the upper 50s and low 60s. So it's that south shore of Chicago that actually has the warmest water. But we're watching some cloud cover stream into the picture right now. It's bringing some showers with it, but our air is relatively dry because high pressure is still in control for us. We'll watch how that plays out as we go through the afternoon, but any rain that shows up on radar likely won't reach the ground. Instead, look for that cloud cover to increase. We'll see temperatures at 67 by lunch, topping out right around 72, and then we'll gradually start to cool things down with perhaps a better rain chance overnight tonight, particularly south of the area. We'll see more sunshine as we head into your Monday. Temperatures right around 80, a storm chance on Tuesday, 82 degrees, and then we'll start to shape things up into the low 70s and upper 60s for the end of the weekend towards next weekend.
A little final taste of summer on Monday.
Yeah, it could be the final taste, but you never know. Sometimes Indian summer comes back with a nice little mid-September warm-up.
And that is the best when that happens, that little extra boost before we truly head into the
I was going to say
temps.
the average temperatures are on the decline by the end of September. Our average high is in the low 60s.
Get out of here. On that note, thank you, Chris.
My pleasure, Keely.
Well, it is 5:18. Showtime is showcasing America's first ladies, and an animated action adventure is taking a new look at a beloved toy. Plus, there are several shows and movies you should find time for this weekend. Will shares his picks in 3 things to watch. That's all just ahead on News 3 Now this morning, Saturday.
I've heard
Welcome back. Let's take a look at what is trending this morning. 3 first ladies are coming together on the TV screen, at least for a brand new show. Viola Davis will portray Michelle Obama when Showtime showcases America's first ladies in a series which is still in development. Showtime says the series will peel back the curtain of the lives of presidential spouses. Davis is an executive producer on the project. The first season will focus on Obama, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Betty Ford. So far, there is no air date. It is every camper's worst nightmare when American Horror Story returns for its 9th season next month. The latest iteration is set in 1984 when a group of camp counselors find themselves dealing with a crazed killer on the loose at their summer camp. American Horror Story 1984 premieres September 14th on FX. The 45th season premiere of Saturday Night Live is just 4 weeks away. This year, it'll kick off with Woody Harrelson as host and Billie Eilish as his musical guest. It'll also begin without fan favorite Leslie Jones. The comedian is reportedly leaving the show after 5 seasons. People close to Jones says she's going to focus on her movies and her upcoming Netflix comedy special. And this one is for the kids or anyone up for a dose of nostalgia. A Child's Toy is coming to life on the big screen this weekend. Playmobil is an animated action adventure about 2 kids on a quest to save the world. Daniel Radcliffe and Adam Lambert lend their voices to 2 of the characters based on the popular toy, which is now showing in theaters. But you don't even have to leave the house to watch something good this weekend. Here is Will Loper's picks and 3 things to watch.
I could hear the whole tune in my head. It was all there, I could see all the notes, and I just had to get it out.
It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside.
New on home video this week is Rocket Man.
So how does a fat boy from nowhere get to be a soul man?
You gotta kill the person you were born to be in order to become the person you wanna be.
Taron Egerton stars in the film about the life and career of musical superstar Elton John.
First sleeping arrangements get out, all of this is gone.
I just hope you realize you're choosing a life of being alone forever.
Don't you want to just sing without this ridiculous paraphernalia?
People don't pay to see Reg White. They pay to see Elton John.
Sorry. I know.
Rocket Man is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
The chaos of wars brought a new wave of refugees to these shores.
Newly streaming on Amazon Prime this week is the series Carnival Row.
Our streets are safe no more.
This is our city!
They will never accept us. They will never understand us.
It's time for a fresh start.
Orlando Bloom and Cara Delevingne star as a human detective and a fairy who fall in love in a fantasy world where immigrant mythological creatures are discriminated against.
They don't know the truth about you.
A man's no better than the pain he's caused the people he loves and what he's willing to do to set it right.
This is where we come alive.
All 6 episodes of Carnival Row are available to stream on Amazon Prime now.
Everything the Skeksis ever told us was a lie.
And now everyone and everything is at risk.
Finally, if you don't have Amazon Prime, but you do have Netflix, check out The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance.
Resistance is forming.
The puppeted series is a prequel to Jim Henson's 1982 film, in which 3 gelflings discover a dark secret and must lead a rebellion to save their world.
Hope is fragile. Precious. Hope catches the light, revealing your destiny.
All 10 episodes of The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance are available to stream on Netflix now. Happy watching. Those are the 3 things you need to watch. And this is Will Loper for News 3 Now this morning.
It is 5:26. There's much more ahead on News 3 Now. Next, we are running through the morning's top stories, and we're learning what it's like to live with unimaginable loss from some families who know that feeling firsthand. How they say they want Congress to tackle gun reform when lawmakers reconvene in a week. That's all ahead on News 3 Now this morning, Saturday.
The port
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. It is August 31st. I'm Keely Arthur. We're going to get a check on your first alert forecast with Chris in just a second. But first, here are 3 things to know as you start your day. Officials have now issued a mandatory evacuation for parts of central Florida as Hurricane Dorian turns closer to shore and gets upgraded to a Category 4 storm. Right now, Dorian is expected to arrive late Monday or early Tuesday. A crew of 27 Wisconsin utility workers will leave tomorrow morning to help. And hundreds are expected to turn out today for 17-year-old Shay Watson's memorial service. A visitation for the Verona High School student who was shot and killed in his home in Fitchburg Sunday is scheduled for 1 o'clock today. Overnight, Verona High School students paid tribute to Watson at the football game by wearing blue. Blue was Watson's favorite color. And good news for Labor Day travelers. With millions of people out on the roads this weekend, it's cheaper this weekend than it has been in the past few years to fill up. AAA says nationally gas prices are around 25 cents lower than they were this time last year and 5 cents lower than 2 years ago. And now here is meteorologist Chris Reese with your Saturday forecast, and things looking pretty good, at least for drivers today, right, Chris?
Yeah, I'm not expecting a lot of rain out there. We might see some cloud cover later on, associated with, oddly enough, some showers moving in from the west. As for us over Wisconsin, our air is relatively dry, so anything that might try to fall out of the cloud cover will likely evaporate before it's actually able to reach the ground. Still, though, we've seen these showers moving in, and notice already once they get past I-35, you start to see those showers weakening as they run in to that drier air. As for us, clear skies right now, the temperature 50 degrees. Dew points are into the upper 40s, so I would not be surprised to see the temperatures try to drop another degree or two. 45 in the Wisconsin Dells right now, Camp Douglas at 41, 42 in Wautoma, Milwaukee a little bit warmer at 57 right now, 48 though just inland as you move towards Waukesha. Now let's go through the day, and temperature should warm up towards 68 degrees as we begin to approach lunchtime, and then by this afternoon I do think we'll warm up a couple more degrees towards 72. I can't rule out the chance of a shower this afternoon, though most of us will be dry. Keely?
Thank you so much for that update of the weather. And with Congress set to return in 1 week, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is ratcheting up pressure on lawmakers to act on gun violence. The country's most powerful Democrat announced this week she will not be taking no for an answer after mass shootings with this month. But any push for reform faces opposition in the Republican-led Senate. And as Congress struggles to address this issue, we wanted to talk with people directly affected by gun violence. Our Gail King spoke to them firsthand.
You go through periods of time when you do feel, the worst thing that's ever happened to me has already happened to me. But at the same time, I'm never going to recover. I don't want to get over it.
You do not?
I don't want to get over it. Chris was our only child. Getting over it would seem to me to be a bit betrayal of my son's memory, and I don't want to get over it.
But how do you go on if you don't get over it?
I feel like I have an obligation as a parent to my son, and that's the work that I do to try to stop gun violence.
You said, Sharon, before we got started, now all the shootings are ranked in categories. What do you mean?
So you have the hate crime category, you have the church category, you have the school category. Bottom line is, dead is a category.
People say it's about Second Amendment rights, the right to bear arms.
Yeah.
I have a right to see my daughter enter 8th grade this fall, and I don't get to do that. And I am grossly, as a mental health professional, offended by the words of our president and members of Congress linking mental illness to mass shootings.
You don't see it as a mental health issue?
The vast majority of people who are mentally ill are not violent by a long shot. Most of the gun violence that we see on a daily basis is related more to domestic violence and misogyny. One thing that isn't talked about a lot is suicides. Families who've lost a loved one to suicide suffer the same grief that we do.
Have any of you ever thought about suicide after this?
Yes.
Yes.
I would say in the early days, it was very dark. And I hope by me saying yes, others can be encouraged by hearing it and ask for help they need.
It was like I died. Chris was everything to me. He was the center of my life. I think the reason why suicide doesn't really Chris wouldn't want that. I'm all that's left of my son's memory. I'm keeping him alive by being alive.
I just want to be with her. That's really what it is. I want to be with her.
Oh, yeah.
And I would, if I could, I would just say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you didn't get what you deserved. But I'll stay here for the work that needs to be done. But I just want to be with her.
I so feel that, Nelba, when you say, I just want to be with her. I just want to be with her.
I have this beautiful, brown-skinned, curly-haired, singing daughter. And I woke up one morning and I didn't have her.
We have to think about the people who are the shooters. In all of these cases, they were young white men in their 20s.
We don't like to talk about race in a lot of these mass shooting situations, but I think it's an important conversation to have.
But Sandy Hook wasn't a race issue.
It wasn't, but It permeates everything, because I'll tell you an interesting conversation my husband said to me shortly after the shooting. And he goes, you know, I've spent my whole life as a black man in America trying to convey that I'm a safe person, especially in white environments. I look people in the eye. I make sure not to take up too much space because I'm a 6 foot, 6 inch, 300-pound black man. Yet a white person, boy, killed my daughter, and I'm not allowed to look at him or look at others in that way, right? I'm supposed to give a grace that I have never been given as a black man in America. However, I will. I wish people would give that to us. And I sat in the passenger seat and I just cried with him.
Emmett Till's mother allowed people to see what had been done to her son's body, and that changed the game in the civil rights movement. Where are you all in people seeing the damage that is caused when your child, your father, your loved one is shot, massacred?
They need to see it.
You think they should see it?
They need to see. They don't. People are visual learners. People need to see the devastation.
I think it's a fair question. I think it's an important one to discuss. I think
How many times was Anna shot?
Many.
Many. Would you have wanted us to see that?
Absolutely not. If this beautiful 6-year-old baby, her living picture, her voice, her affect, everything about her alive didn't change you, her photo dead wouldn't change you either.
I say, if gun violence in America does not make your heart hurt, makes your soul cry, if you can't feel that, then you can't feel anything.
Powerful story. Congress reconvenes after more than a month off, 1 week from Monday on September 9th. Well, looking for something to do this weekend? We'll get your stomachs ready. The Taste of Madison is back. We have what you need to know before you go, plus the other events happening around town. That is coming up in your weekend 6:08 next on News 3 Now this morning. Well, looking for something to do this weekend? Well, get your stomachs ready. We are back with the Weekend 608.
Here's a look at what's happening around town.
Every year since 1983, Taste of Madison has drawn tens of thousands of food lovers to Capitol Square to sample the offerings of local restaurants. This weekend, more than 80 restaurants and food trucks, plus another 24 beverage stands will be on hand, with each small plate consisting of $5 or less. You can afford to sample several vendors' food or feed the entire family. And you're doing something good in the process. The money raised is donated to local nonprofits.
I'm hungry just reading that. Yeah. Back at the Majestic tonight is the 3rd annual Respect, a celebration of women in music. This is where a baker's dozen female vocalists will bring life on stage to some of the most iconic women artists in American music. The review will include songs by Beyonce, Brandi Carlile, Ella Fitzgerald, and Amy Winehouse, along with Bonnie Pratt and others.
All right, hopefully this one doesn't make you hungry. The 45th annual Cow Chip Throwing Festival in Prairie du Sac. I am over covering this festival. Around 40,000 people are expected to go and watch people throw dyed cow poop as far as they can. Each year, the festival goes through as many as 400 cow chips minimum. If you're tossing a cow chip is more of a number 2 kind of thing on your list to do at the festival, you can do other things like check out music, a volleyball tournament, and other family-friendly activities.
Does it smell?
I don't know. Probably not as bad as if it were dry.
Okay. All right. Well, after you do that, tomorrow afternoon, the High Noon Saloon is hosting its parking lot, the first ever Great Midwestern Hootenanny. Now, did I say that right?
I warned you. I was like,
All
yes,
right.
you have to say Hootenanny.
Right.
You
now,
nailed it.
starting at 2 p.m. and running until midnight, more than a dozen bluegrass, Americana, and jam bands will play an assortment, and then food trucks will be on hand to help sustain audience members. Yeah.
All right.
Gotta have food.
Tons of fun things. As always, you can get this month's Madison magazine for all the best the Madison area has to offer. Well, it is 5:44.
And you're looking live over the Capitol right now. Have your full forecast next on News 3 Now this morning.
But first, if you have a little kiddo turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can share their picture on TV. Stay with us.
Look who
All eyes on Hurricane Dorian as we go through the holiday weekend, and if you are making plans that take you towards the southeastern coast to travel, you are going to want to pay attention to what this storm does and just about every single move that it makes. Now, right now, Dorian is hurricane or a Category 4 hurricane, winds at 140 miles per hour with pressure that continues to drop. So we've seen this storm strengthen over time, and it's going to continue to do so. We've got a lot of warm water and a very tropical environment that is conducive for hurricane strengthening as we go through the next couple of days. So look at the forecast for it to sustain its strength and actually strengthen just a little bit more towards Category 5 strength, but just below. And then right as it gets towards Florida, it's as if fate had something else in mind. We'll watch this in time, but it looks like our hurricane is going to take a turn northward, likely towards the low country of Charleston, South Carolina, and then up towards Myrtle Beach. So this is going to be what we pay attention to really throughout the entire weather community going through the next couple of days. Here in Madison, we're also watching the cloud cover. That'll be on the increase later on. Clear skies over the airport at the moment. The temperature 50 degrees, dew points into the upper 40s. Here are those winds coming in out of the north and northeast. And Camp Douglas has now dropped towards 39. Still 50s for a lot of folks. And one of the things that's keeping the lakeshore warmer is the fact that our lake temperatures are also warmer. This is where we're seeing water temperatures into the mid 60s and even the low 70s. But again, cloud cover is starting to move in from the west right now. Some showers are trying to approach, but notice how they begin to fall apart, especially once they move towards I-35. That is because we have high pressure in control over the upper Midwest, and so it's supplying just enough dry air that those showers aren't able to sustain themselves as they get closer towards the Madison area. So we'll see the cloud cover increase later on, but the shower chance should be held off until way late and really passing down towards the south. Here we are at 12 o'clock. Temperatures will be into the upper 60s, low 70s for those highs moving into this afternoon. Here's that shower chance. Check out the time. This is 11:30 at night, and the further south and east you are, I think the best chance of seeing an overnight shower you'll have. 57 as we move towards the overnight hours, and then we'll warm back up into the 60s tomorrow. But we'll start to see more sunshine returning as we move into your Sunday afternoon. Monday looks absolutely beautiful for your Labor Day. We'll see a little chance for some storms on Tuesday, but even I'll say I'm not all that impressed with the storm chance on Tuesday. I just like our temperatures, but the cold front that comes through after that will be noticed. We'll see about a 10-degree drop in temperatures.
All right, break out your coats. So
okay,
sad.
Houston.
Yeah, I know. Get your parka. All right, thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
We'll stick with News 3 all day long. And then tomorrow morning, our back-to-school coverage continues with meals made easy, from simple snacks to delicious dinners. We'll make cooking simple for your family during a very busy time of year. But first, students at the UW aren't the only ones on the move this weekend. A location donut destination has some fresh digs too. And up next, we're taking a tour of the all-new Green Bush Bakery. Thanks for watching News 3 Now this morning. We'll be right back. Students are not the only ones moving in on the UW campus. The Madison institution recently moved as well. And if you're on the hunt for donuts this weekend, remember that Greenbush Bakery moved one block down from its former location on Regent Street to the storefront in Regent Street Apartments.
Marv and Barbara Miller founded Greenbush Bakery 23 years ago. Their grandson Taylor is now the general manager, and he gave our News 3 Now crew a tour of their brand new space.
Yeah, we've got 1,800 square feet here. It's kind of a little mini version of our new East Side location. We're pretty happy with it. We're glad that we were able to find a spot within a block of where we were at before.
Was it important to you to stay in the downtown area, to stay near campus?
Yes, for sure. We wanted to obviously stay in the Greenbush neighborhood. That was a big thing. Being around campus, you know, this location's been here for 23 years, so we wanted to find something relatively close to where we were at.
Well, just when you thought Greenbush Bakery couldn't get any better, this is so much nicer than your old location. You have places to sit and enjoy coffee and a donut.
Yeah,
it's much bigger.
We've got a bunch of tables and some bar stools over here.
Why is a Greenbush donut so special? What makes it different from so many other donuts?
We use top-notch ingredients in all of our products. Our fry grease that we use is a trans-fat-free soybean oil. And that's part of it too. A lot of donuts, when they're using a cheaper fry grease, you get it to that oily texture.
And so still a kosher bakery.
Kosher. A lot of people ask about what kosher exactly is. And we basically just tell people it's another form of supervision, you know, meeting standards from our rabbi for cleanliness and, you know, ingredients.
Now you're the next generation of the family to take over the business. Tell me a little bit about your role in the company.
So yeah, my grandpa's owned it for 23 years now. Once I got done with school, it kind of was like a perfect timing for things. We were kind of just outgrowing our location down on Regent, and we needed to expand. And it was when we opened up our East Side location. It ended up being awesome out there. And then a year and a half later, we're at this position to be moving locations. And, you know, 26 years old. I just know that how much work my grandpa's put into things, and learned a lot from him. I always tell him I learned more from him than I did in my 5 years of college. Just being around, you know, experiencing the business and seeing how things actually operate, you kind of learn as you go. And he's kind of given me free rein to do that on my own. And it's been pretty sweet, and yeah, I enjoy it a lot.
It is big shoes to fill, and just seeing the way you're reacting is so beautiful that you are taking this responsibility so seriously. This is about a lot more than just making donuts.
It is.
This is a Madison institution.
It's a tradition.
A legend.
Staple of Madison. Donut Man likes to call it Madison's little darling. So, yeah, we just continuing the legacy and, you know, keep growing and growing. And
you want to make your grandpa proud, don't you?
That's the goal.
Well, you already have. Mission accomplished.
Kind of a nice, cool, crisp morning to grab a coffee and a donut.
Yeah, it really is. Temperatures right around 50 degrees. We'll warm up towards 72 this afternoon. We'll see some cloud cover, and I cannot rule out an isolated shower, especially later on towards the day. And the further south you are, here's Skeeter in Fitchburg.
All right, Skeeter, you can see me, Skeeter, and Chris coming up in the 8 o'clock hour.